many variations told around the world. This morning we will hear the story as told in Austria to both children and grown-ups, and children alike. Please welcome Paul as he presents for your listening pleasure, What's His Name?
A long time ago. Long time ago, I believe it was 1998. In a far, far away land, there was a count and a countess in a castle. We all love castles. Well, this castle was almost seemingly enchanted because everyone was so happy. The countess was the apple and light of the count's life. The countess brought joy to this count. He could not imagine life without her. One day, though, he decided to go hunting with all his buddies into this forest. He owned this magnificent forest with all sorts of trees in it. It was a very hot day, kind of like yesterday here in Florida. Very hot day. So he decided to go deeper and deeper into these woods and find a little respite from this heat. Well, soon, because he was in unfamiliar territory going around these blind curves, he got separated from his party. He wasn't too concerned because his kingdom was a kingdom of happiness. His kingdom was a kingdom where nothing ever went wrong. But he reaches this point in the woods that just seemed a little bit darker. He was a little unsure of himself when all of a sudden, "Hey, what are you doing in my realm?" And there was this gruff dwarf. Now, he had heard stories of this dwarf when he was a child, and he was petrified. He heard about how they used to eat kids and steal wives and do all these mean things. So, but being a count and having responsibility and knowing that the buck stopped with him, he stood up and he said, "I am so sorry, I didn't realize that this was your realm." "Well, sorry's not good enough. You must either give me your wife or die."
Whoa.
Because I've always heard that a soft word turns away wrath. So he goes, "I really do apologize. See, my land is right next to yours, and I didn't realize where the territory was. I apologize. It will never happen again." "That's not good enough. Either your life or your wife." Well, knowing how the count feels about his wife, you can imagine what kind of decision that was. How tough and how strenuous he had to work his mind on how to get out of this one, and he finally just goes, "I implore you, anything but this. I will give you anything but these choices." Well, the dwarf sat for a little while, and he goes, "Very well. I will put your fate into your wife's hands, since obviously you love her so much. If she can guess my name after 3 tries, you may go free. But if she can't, she's mine. I will walk you back to the edge of my territory." So side by side they walked, both very solemn. Of course, the dwarf, thinking he had a very auspicious occasion here, because he thought this was a for sure thing, he was already plotting the wedding. They arrive at this tree. It was this old, ancient, gray bearded fir tree. The dwarf stops and says, "This is the edge of my realm. This tree is 9 times older than any other tree in the forest. In 1 month, you and your wife must show up here. And I will give you 3 guesses for 3 days, since this is 9 times older than all the other trees. And if after the 9th guess on the 3rd day, she is not able to guess my name, she is my wife." Well, the count accepts. What else is he going to do? And he solemnly walks back home. Well, as he comes back to the castle, his wife is looking out one of the towers, and her heart is filled with joy, and she's singing, like they do in all those little fairy tale things. And she runs out to meet him, because the love of her life is coming back home. But then she sees the look on his face. She goes, "Count, what is wrong?" He tells her the whole story. Well, pretty soon the whole kingdom hears of this trouble. And the whole kingdom is plunged into sadness. For a whole month, they would talk and try to guess names. But what were they going to do? There are just so many names out there. How would they ever guess? It seemed like this was a lost cause. And with each passing day, they would sink deeper and deeper into despair. Finally, the end of the month comes. And as agreed, the Count and the Countess walk up to this tree. And there, standing there, is the dwarf, just dressed in this green and red outfit that just actually looks very beautiful. Well, take your guess. So the wife comes up and she goes, he grew up in the forest, so maybe he's named after a tree. She goes, pine, fir, spruce. The dwarf just laughs and goes, oh, you'll never guess. I hope you can do better than that tomorrow. I'll see you here same time. And he walks down this little path. They discuss this, the Count and the Countess. They go, well, maybe he's named after some sort of a plant. He is a woods creature after all. Second day they meet them there. She goes, oats, barley, grass. You are so far off, you will never guess. Tomorrow you're going to be my wife. And he walks down this path. Well, third day comes. They're very dejected. And they're waiting, and they're waiting, and the dwarf is late. So the Countess decides to go down this path and see where this dwarf is going. And she comes around, here again, another blind curve, and there's this beautiful valley. Mountains and a little charming hut, little cottage there. She walks up to the window, and here's this dwarf preparing a wedding feast. And he's singing a song, boil my oats, cook my barley. Today I'm going to be married because the silly Countess can't know my name. It's Persingle. And she runs back up to the path, and she's excited. Well, the Count is going, this is kind of weird. She's excited. Today she's going to be the wife of the dwarf. The dwarf comes up, he's dressed in his wedding gown, and says, guess my name. She goes, Per. Kind of stops. Go, guess again. Goat. Hurry up and guess, because your time's running out. Persingle. What? And his eyes got red and fiery, and he ran off away, never to be seen again. And the Count and the Countess lived happily ever after.
Yay!